Consumer Reports has just delivered the most shocking reliability report the pickup truck world has seen in more than a decade, an across-the-board collapse that has sent shockwaves through truck owners, dealerships, and automakers. And this isn't a small dip, this is a massive industry-shaking decline that exposes hidden failures, rising repair costs, and serious safety concerns that many manufacturers hoped you wouldn't discover. Today we're breaking down exactly which trucks suffered the biggest drops, why reliability is crashing, and what you must know before buying any 2025 truck. According to the newest data, several major brands took a brutal hit, but the worst declines hit the big American names first. Trucks from Ford, Ram, and Chevrolet show some of the steepest year-over-year reliability drops, with multiple models falling deep into the below-average category. Meanwhile, Toyota, long considered the gold standard in reliability, experienced an unexpected slide as well, raising a new question. Is this the start of a larger pickup truck collapse? And Nissan, despite holding steady for years, now faces its own downward pressure. But what caused this massive fall? Consumer Reports points directly to a combination of advanced technology failures and mechanical issues that owners never expected. New digital dashboards, complex infotainment systems, hybrid powertrains, and driver assist modules are all failing consistently, far more than older, simpler trucks ever did. Even core components like engines and transmission showed alarming increases in failure rates, with reports of rough idling, premature oil consumption, sensor malfunctions, slipping gears, and electrical shorts. This raises the question, are automakers rushing too much new tech into trucks without enough testing, or cutting corners to save costs? One of the biggest bombshells in the report is that several trucks are now being labeled potential money pits. Owners are facing repair bills that stack up far earlier than expected, and some trucks are breaking down before 40,000 miles, a number that would have been unthinkable a decade ago. Mechanics are reporting a surge of early life failures, from broken turbochargers to malfunctioning 10-speed transmissions to hybrid battery glitches. These aren't isolated cases. Consumer Reports says the problems are widespread enough to affect the rankings on a national scale. And the financial damage is stunning. Owners may now spend hundreds or even thousands of extra dollars per year just keeping their trucks on the road. Extended warranties, which many buyers used to skip, are suddenly becoming almost essential. Meanwhile, resale values for some of the most popular models are expected to drop sharply as reliability issues spread across owner forums, mechanic shops, and dealership service departments. In fact, many dealerships have reportedly known about these issues for months but remained silent to avoid scaring customers away from new inventory. Another major factor in the collapse is the industry's push toward hybrid and EV pickups. Consumer Reports reveal that several trucks incorporating new electrified systems performed worse than expected. Reliability scores fell because of battery management problems, regenerative braking issues, and complex electronics that have not matured enough for heavy-duty truck use. This begs the question, is the speed of electrification outpacing durability? And should buyers delay purchasing upcoming 2025 models until fixes are confirmed? Even more concerning, several reliability failures are linked directly to safety risks. Faulty wiring harnesses, unexpected engine power loss, electronic steering failures, and malfunctioning braking systems were all cited. Consumer Reports even hints that some automakers tried to downplay or hide these issues until they became impossible to ignore. With trucks failing sooner than ever before, experts warn that multiple models could be headed toward recalls or even class action lawsuits if the problems continue into 2026. Now the big question, which truck suffered the worst year-over-year reliability crash? Consumer Reports points to a model that stunned analysts, dropping further than any other truck in the report. And on the flip side, a few trucks actually improved their rankings, while others collapsed. The differences reveal a deeper industry pattern that could reshape the entire truck market in the next 24 months. And behind all of this, truck enthusiasts are furious. Forums, Facebook groups, and owner communities are exploding with reactions ranging from disbelief to outrage. Many are accusing automakers of charging more money than ever, while giving customers less reliability than ever. Prices keep rising, yet quality keeps falling. Even Toyota's once untouchable reputation is now under scrutiny, as fans question whether this decline is unprecedented or just the beginning. This raises a final, unnerving question. Is this the start of a long-term decline in the entire pickup truck segment? And is Consumer Reports predicting the trend will get even worse in 2026 and beyond? Because if the current data is accurate, the answer could shake the entire automotive industry. The deeper you dig into this Consumer Reports investigation, the more disturbing the pattern becomes. One of the most alarming revelations is how reliability failures cluster in very specific categories. Engine problems dominated the complaints, especially among turbocharged and hybrid-assisted trucks. Owners report ticking noises, oil leaks, blown head gaskets, and even total engine shutdown at highway speeds. Transmission issues followed closely behind, with grinding shifts, delayed engagement, and electronics that randomly forced the truck into limp mode. This alone explains why several top-selling models nosedived in their rankings, but the crash doesn't stop there. Electronics, once a minor annoyance, are now one of the biggest failure points in modern pickups. Consumer Reports highlights a surge of problems with digital dashboards freezing, driver assist sensors randomly failing, lane keep systems activating without warning, and infotainment systems rebooting while driving. These aren't minor bugs anymore. These failures are happening frequently enough that owners can't ignore them. It raises a major concern. Have trucks become too complicated for their own good? Suspension and steering issues also spiked sharply, especially in heavier trucks designed for towing and hauling. Owners reported premature wear in ball joints, broken control arms, steering vibration, wandering at highway speeds, and even total power steering loss. Some mechanics warned that these failures are being caused by manufacturers pushing lighter materials to improve fuel economy, materials that may not withstand heavy-duty use. If that's true, the entire design philosophy of modern trucks may be collapsing under its own weight. Meanwhile, a quiet war is forming between American and Japanese manufacturers. Ford, Ram, and Chevrolet all suffered huge drops, but Toyota, once the king of reliability, is now showing cracks in its armor. Consumer Reports revealed that the latest generation of Toyota Tacoma and Tundra models faced rising complaints about turbo issues, electrical faults, and early component wear. Nissan held steady for years, but this year even they were dragged downward by a rise in CVT-related failures and electrical gremlins. For the first time in decades, the Japanese brands are no longer automatically dominating the reliability charts. Mechanics interviewed for the report offered a blunt explanation: cost-cutting. They claim automakers are using cheaper parts, thinner components, and faster production methods to keep profit margins high, especially as trucks have become luxury-priced vehicles. When you're paying $55,000 to $90,000 for a new truck, you expect bulletproof reliability. Instead, many buyers are getting trucks that break earlier, cost more to repair, and spend more time in the shop than on the road. And now, the hidden danger. Many of these issues aren't just inconveniences. Several have direct safety implications. Consumer Reports connected multiple reliability failures to dangerous on-road scenarios: trucks losing power while towing, brake assist systems failing without warning, airbag sensors malfunctioning, blind spot monitors that shut off mid-drive. The report suggests that some automakers may have known about certain failures but chose not to disclose them immediately, hoping issues wouldn't spread widely enough to trigger a recall. If that's true, class action lawsuits could be on the horizon. The financial fallout is only just beginning. Trucks with plunging reliability scores usually take massive hits in resale value. Owners who plan to trade in their trucks after 3 to 5 years could now see thousands of dollars vanish. And with extended warranties becoming more necessary, yet more expensive truck ownership costs could skyrocket in 2025 and 2026. Buyers are already asking one major question: should you delay buying a new pickup until manufacturers fix these problems? According to analysts, the answer might be yes, but the biggest shockwave may still be coming. Consumer Reports hints that several unreleased 2025 models already show early reliability red flags from pre-production testing and early buyer feedback. If these predictions come true, next year's report could be even worse. Truck enthusiasts, some of the most loyal automotive buyers on the planet, are already bracing for more bad news. And then there's the question everyone is afraid to ask: is the entire pickup truck segment reaching a breaking point? Prices are skyrocketing, complexity is exploding, and ownership costs are rising faster than ever. Fans are starting to wonder whether the golden age of dependable, long-lasting trucks is officially over. Consumer Reports didn't just expose the collapse, they ranked it, and the rankings reveal a storyline more shocking than anyone expected. One of the biggest year-over-year plunges came from a truck that was once praised for its bold redesign and cutting-edge tech. This model went from being a fan favorite to a reliability disaster almost overnight. Owners flooded service centers with complaints about turbo failures, glitchy screens, unstable ride quality, and powertrain errors that appear without warning. Dealership technicians quietly admit they're overwhelmed, seeing the same faults repeated across dozens of trucks each week. Another truck, one that used to dominate the full-size category, fell even harder. Consumer Reports highlighted extreme transmission issues, with some owners reporting shuddering, slipping, and complete transmission breakdowns before hitting 30,000 miles. The model's sophisticated new electronics package, meant to modernize the truck, turned out to be a reliability nightmare. From broken parking sensors to malfunctioning cameras to heated seats that shut off randomly, everything seems tied to a deeper wiring flaw that no one wants to publicly acknowledge. But the most shocking collapse came from a brand that built its name on being tough. According to Consumer Reports, this truck suffered catastrophic engine and drivetrain failures at a rate that stunned analysts. Some owners experienced sudden loss of power while towing. Others had engines seized with little warning. Fuel system issues and injector failures became so common that several mechanics now keep spare parts on standby. The year-over-year drop for this truck was so severe that Consumer Reports labeled it one of the biggest declines in its entire database. And while some trucks crumbled, others surprisingly improved. A few mid-size models climbed the rankings because they avoided overloading their design with tech-heavy features. Their simpler engines, fewer sensors, and less aggressive hybrid systems meant fewer failure points. Consumer Reports praised these trucks for consistency over complexity, but even these models aren't immune from the industry-wide pressure that's pulling quality downward. This brings us to one of the biggest questions raised by the report. Are automakers sacrificing long-term reliability in their scramble to add features and cut costs? Analysts believe yes, prices are rising faster than ever, yet internal manufacturing shortcuts, like thinner metal, cheaper wiring harnesses, plastic components where metal used to be, and outsourced electronics, are quietly undermining the durability drivers depend on. When a $70,000 truck has more cheap connectors than a $19 toaster, something is very wrong. Dealership insiders are starting to speak out too. Several told Consumer Reports investigators that they've been instructed not to overemphasize recurring faults during sales discussions. Some even admit they avoid mentioning known problems unless a customer brings them up first. Service advisors in multiple states say they've seen the same failures repeat so consistently that they could diagnose them over the phone, but they're told to wait for official guidance before calling them widespread issues. That silence is fueling frustration among buyers who feel blindsided by problems they were never warned about. Truck owners are also reporting that repairs are taking longer than ever, not only because of part shortages, but because manufacturers are overwhelmed by warranty claims. In some areas, service departments are booked weeks out, and when defects hit hybrid or EV trucks, the repair costs become astronomical. A single hybrid battery replacement can cost more than an entire used truck from 15 years ago. Even small modules, like the inverter or the Regan brake controller, can cost thousands to fix. This is why Consumer Reports warns that buyers may face some of the highest lifetime ownership costs in pickup history. But here's the part that could shake the whole industry. Consumer Reports suggests these reliability declines are not random. They are part of a trend that has been building for years. Each model year has brought more complexity, more features, and more materials designed to cut weight or reduce production costs. Meanwhile, most of the new generation trucks released after 2022 show patterns of early life failure. If this continues, 2026 could mark the worst reliability scores the truck segment has ever seen. Truck forums are already in meltdown. Enthusiasts are accusing automakers of abandoning the working class, selling luxury tech instead of durability, and charging premium prices for disposable trucks. Hardcore fans who grew up trusting their brand are now questioning everything. The loyalty that once held the truck market together is starting to crack, and Consumer Reports just poured gasoline on the fire. Now let's go deeper into the heart of the storm, the brand by brand unraveling that Consumer Reports exposed behind the scenes. scenes. What you're about to hear explains why truck owners across America feel betrayed, why mechanics are overwhelmed, and why the industry may be entering its most unstable era in decades. Ford, one of the largest truck makers on the planet, took several of the most brutal hits in this year's report. Consumer Reports highlighted widespread issues in multiple F-Series models, especially with turbo engines, hybrid systems, and the notorious 10-speed transmission shared across several vehicles. Owners describe sudden jerks, unexplained power loss, and warning lights that appear out of nowhere. Mechanics say they've seen everything from blown turbos to hybrid drive modules failing at under 20,000 miles. Even more shocking, some dealerships are quietly advising customers to avoid hard towing until updated parts arrive. For a brand built on toughness, this is an embarrassing collapse. Ram wasn't spared either. In fact, some of the worst electronic failures in the entire study came from Ram's full-size trucks. Consumer Reports recorded issues with air suspension, touchscreen malfunctions, and transmission complications that owners say turn everyday driving into a gamble. Several Ram models saw dramatic drops in reliability rankings, and mechanics across the country claim that Ram's quality issues have been building for years, only now reaching a breaking point. Many owners feel blindsided, especially given Ram's aggressive marketing pushing luxury interiors and premium features that are now failing at alarming rates. Chevrolet also took a hit, especially with its full-size lineup. Consumer Reports revealed rising complaints about engine lifter failures, electrical shorts, and inconsistent transmission behavior. Some Chevy trucks experienced catastrophic engine failures due to oil pressure complications, leaving owners with massive repair bills even within the first 24 months. Independent mechanics say GM's push to modernize engines with aggressive fuel-saving tech may be causing more harm than good. With thousands of trucks relying on these systems, issues are becoming widespread and expensive. But perhaps the most shocking part is that Toyota, the brand synonymous with reliability, also stumbled. The latest Tacoma and Tundra models, especially those with twin turbo and hybrid powertrains, showed early mechanical issues that owners were not prepared for. From turbo lag and excessive oil consumption to electrical gremlins, Toyota's once flawless reputation has cracks forming rapidly. Consumer Reports noted that the first-year reliability of the new Tundra was significantly lower than the older V8 powered models. Fans are now asking, did Toyota move too fast trying to modernize their engines? Nissan saw a smaller drop but still wasn't immune. The Frontier held up better than most models in the industry, but the Titan suffered multiple electronic and transmission related complaints. And with Nissan cutting back on Titan production, consumers fear that reliability support for future years may decline even further. Across all brands, the failures seem to cluster in 4 critical categories that Consumer Reports identified as the most likely to fail in today's trucks: powertrain, turbo issues, hybrid system failures, engine overheating, injector problems, transmission, delayed shifting, sudden jerking, slipping gears, total failure in extreme cases, electronics, touchscreen glitches, frozen instrument clusters, malfunctioning sensors, suspension and steering, broken components, alignment issues, unexpected steering loss. These categories aren't minor. They're the core systems that determine a truck's reliability, safety, and long-term cost. If all 4 are falling at once, the industry is facing a structural collapse, not a temporary dip. And that's exactly what Consumer Reports is warning: a structural collapse fueled by rising costs, rushed innovation, and shrinking quality control. But here's the twist: some insiders believe that automakers knew this was coming. Whistleblowers hint that engineers have been flagging design weaknesses for years, but executives were more focused on adding new features, beating competitors to market, and pushing high-priced trims with luxury tech. These decisions may now be backfiring on a scale nobody expected. Meanwhile, buyers are starting to ask hard questions. If trucks are becoming less reliable, more expensive, and more complex, what exactly are we paying for? And more importantly, what happens next year if these trends get even worse? Because Consumer Reports didn't just report on the present, they also hinted at what could be coming in 2026. And their warnings are nothing short of alarming. Consumer Reports' long-term forecast is perhaps the most chilling part of this entire investigation. They warn that if automakers continue down this path, prioritizing complex electronics electronics, rushed hybrid and EV powertrains, and cost-cutting materials, then 2026 could become the worst reliability year in modern pickup truck history. The early data they've seen from pre-production tests shows many of the same failure patterns repeating: fragile wiring, overloaded software systems, and engines designed for efficiency instead of durability. If those predictions hold true, the reliability crisis we're seeing now may just be the beginning. And this is where the industry's biggest fear becomes impossible to ignore. The loyalty of truck buyers is now at risk. Pickup owners are some of the most dedicated customers in the automotive world. Many stick with the same brand for life, but that loyalty is being tested like never before. Forums are filled with lifelong Ford, Chevy, Ram, and Toyota owners saying the same thing. If this doesn't get fixed, I'm switching brands or leaving trucks entirely. Dealerships know this too. Behind closed doors, some advisors admit that they've never seen customer frustration this high. One Ford tech told Consumer Reports investigators that his service bay receives more warranty claims per week now than they did per month just a few years ago. A Ram service advisor said that electronic failures have become so common that it's almost a part of the ownership experience now. Chevy techs say the lifter failures are not a matter of if, but when. And Toyota mechanics, usually the most relaxed in the industry, are openly frustrated with the new powertrain complexity. This is why analysts believe the current reliability collapse could reshape the market. If 2025 models don't improve and 2026 repeats these failures, resale values will crater, customer trust will erode, and the entire truck segment could be forced into an identity crisis. Trucks used to stand for strength, simplicity, and dependability. Now they're becoming fragile, expensive, software-dependent machines that break faster and cost more than ever to maintain. But here's the final twist: not every truck is doomed. In the middle of this reliability landslide, a few models actually climbed in Consumer Reports rankings. Trucks that avoided over-engineering, stuck with proven engines, and offered fewer complicated electronics performed better than expected. These models prove that reliability isn't impossible. It's just being ignored by companies racing to add more features instead of more strength. They show that durability still matters, and that buyers will reward automakers who choose function over flash. So what does this all mean for you, the everyday truck owner or future buyer? It means now, more than ever, you must do your homework before stepping onto a dealership lot. It means asking tougher questions, researching long-term data, and not letting brand loyalty blind you to real-world failures. For many buyers, waiting for the 2025 updates, or even holding off until 2026, might be the smartest financial move. Consumer Reports has spoken. The numbers don't lie. The reliability drop is real, it's widespread, and it's worse than anything we've seen in years. But now the spotlight is on the automakers. Will they fix the issues, restore quality, and rebuild trust? Or will the reliability freefall continue until the truck market collapses under its own weight? One thing is for sure, the next year will decide the future of the entire pickup truck industry. And we'll be right here, keeping you updated, exposing the truth, and breaking down every major development as it happens. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.